Guys, today I'm going to be reviewing a Glowseen LED leash. Now, I will link my video down below for my other video which has the matching collar. So I'm doing this review. This was sent to me by Glowseen in exchange for my review. So let's get started. So the first thing that I always like to do is I like to show the packaging that it came in, because for some people this is important, and for me especially, this particular packaging is pretty important, and I'll kind of tell you why. So get this stuff out of it. So first off, the fact that this is kind of, to me, is a reusable package is pretty awesome. So if you look here, it has the zip close, you know, it has that whole thing going on for it, and it also has this metal loop here. So now what like I mentioned in my other video, if you have watched that, is I really think that these things are very useful. I plan on using these leashes and collars more for camping wise and everything. Obviously they're not everyday collars, because you want to keep this thing as good as you can, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit more here in a second. So this kind of like can hang up, you can put this just anywhere, keeps it off the ground, keeps it out of the dirt, and then it's sealable. And I want to say that this is waterproof. This is not a net as it looks like it, but it's not. It's plastic, and the whole thing is plastic. So it's a really kind of a neat packaging, and I'm glad that they sent it like this, because I've had so many things that come in plastic packaging. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but sometimes when I can store things back in their original packaging, it just really kind of helps it along. This thing actually did come plastic covered. Obviously, of course, I popped that off, because when you first get this, you want to charge it. So that brings me to this little number. The main reason that I am absolutely in love with this collar and leash set is because they are rechargeable. They are not battery operated, they are rechargeable. And if you'll look, this is actually a micro USB that fits in most regular Android phones. So I have a Samsung Note 5 and this fits. So you can, in a pinch, you can use your phone charger to charge that up. It fits in a regular USB on the other side. Really awesome. I honestly didn't know that these existed until I kind of did a little bit of research. I thought that all LED collars ran off batteries and that they were kind of a waste, because how long could a battery possibly last in something like this? But then when I found out, and then I also thought, okay, if it ran on batteries, it's got to have a huge battery pack. So, this is like, to me, this is really awesome. So that means that I can use this for as long as I want. There is no having to replace the batteries, because eventually when you have to replace the batteries and things, you just get irritated, because batteries are not cheap. So these are lifesaver. This is a lifesaver right here. So now to the collar. Or to the leash, sorry. So first you have, of course, that. This is going to be for a bigger dog. This is not a small leash clasp. I have two bigger dogs. I have a mutt that's the size of a beagle, but she's not a beagle. And then I have a German Shepherd, which this is what this one is for. So that being used for her, this is perfect. This is the the regular leash setup that you would find if you were to buy in stores, just a regular leash. It holds perfectly fine. It clasps perfectly fine. The clasp on the collar is perfectly, it's very durable. My German Shepherd likes to pull a little bit, so this really is actually, it's very strong. I would trust this. I would trust her. Obviously, I have trusted her because I've taken her out on walks with it already. So I trust that this one is going to hold up. Probably better than most of the leashes that I have had. I've actually had leashes break on me when I've had a clasp smaller than this one. This one is, is a good one. It doesn't, I know like some of these actually kind of get stuck And this one, you know, just keeps on going, keeps on trucking. So the inside of this is actually kind of neat. It's a kind of that pleather feel to it. Makes it really nice when, you know, you are holding on to the leash, you know, versus just the nylon. It actually kind of will prevent any burn that may happen from these leashes, because I can tell you one thing, that burns from nylon leashes hurt immensely. They hurt. I've never had a burn from this type of leash. I've had it from a retractable leash, which is why I imagine that they put a little warning that says don't grab the leash. But what do? Is I grab the leash. Sorry for any noise in the background, by the way. I have things going on outside and my dogs are upset. So, anyway, yeah, so this is kind of a neat little feature. It kind of keeps your hand comfortable. It's a little, just a tiny, tiny little bit of padding. So I don't know if you're seeing this, like, I can squish it in. So it's just the tiniest little bit of padding. So that's kind of like a little extra. Again, wider leash. It's going to be for a bigger dog. Now, they do have these. I don't know if this company in particular has these available for smaller dogs. Certainly doesn't hurt to contact and ask them that. So, now that we've gone over the leash part of it, let's get to the light part. So, here is this is everything. This is the guts of the leash. So, or this is what I would say the heart of the leash. This is the battery. This is the charger. As you can see, the charging port's right here. So this is battery, the charger, the light. So the light comes from right in here, as you can see when I turn it on. So this comes with, it has 3 different settings. And I know this is daylight, but you can still see the leash pretty good. I do have pictures of the leash and collar on my dog during dusk, when you can actually see things. So if you press it once, you can see that it's just a steady light. Now, even though the light comes from here, it comes from here, and it kind of, because this is like it's like a hard nylon, kind of, I want to say. It protects the tubes that are in there. So this, even though the light comes from here, by the time you get to the end of the leash, you can kind of see here, by the time you get to the end of the leash, it's still the same amount of brightness. You know, like I said, it's daylight time, so it's really kind of hard to tell, but you can see this is all the way on the other side of the leash, and it's still just as bright, and it is just as bright. It's, you know, I thought that, you know, when the light comes from here, obviously it's going to be dim the further you go, but that is not the case with this. It's actually a really nice, you know, light. So there's a button here, and it's kind of just, you know, it's kind of built into there, but the button is on top of here. So what you do, you know, the first time you press it, it's just this long, steady light. Press it again, and it's a flashing kind of thing. So it's just a rapid flash, and you can sync up your collar and your leash, not by any fancy mobile technology or anything, but just, you know, by simply pressing the button. You can, you know, the collar has the same exact adjustments. So if you press it once, you know, it's steady light. Press it 2 times, it's, you know, this rapid flashing light. Again, still all the way down to the end of the leash, and it's still just as bright. So press it again, and it's got a slow, steady, just kind of, yeah, it's a slow, steady flash. So it's still a flash, but it's slower. Me personally, I like just when it's on. You know, just kind of makes it to where you can really see. But I suppose you could probably use that and you can see just as well. It's just a really cool little, you know, the fact that you have, I guess, so much going on with just this little thing right here is just awesome. So anyway, it's just, you know, first of all, it does come with a tiny little manual, user manual kind of thing that tells you to charge it, how to charge it, because not only is this like the settings for the leash itself, but it also has, this is kind of like a light indicator for the battery. So when you plug it in, it will glow dimly. It just like, the light just glows dimly. And then when it's fully charged, this light will turn off. So, you know, kind of a cool technique, because you ultimately don't want to overcharge these, because these batteries are sensitive to overcharging. So you don't want to overcharge them. So when you first get it, I would say no more than an hour, which it does say. You know, it just says charging takes 30 minutes to an hour. When I first got it, I did have to charge it, you know, upon opening it. But I have yet to charge it, and I've had it for a week. Of course, I haven't been using it consistently for a week. I'm not saying the battery lasts for a week, you know, all together, but you get what I mean. When I go for walks, you know, I haven't had to recharge it. And I honestly don't want to recharge it until I see signs of it dying. Then I recharge it, because, you know, this doesn't have any fancy, this has the same output. So that's the same thing with your cell phone battery, with anything. You don't want to charge it until it's pretty much dead, because this doesn't care if you have 1% on your battery or if you have 100% on your battery. It's going to put the same output. So you don't want to kind of expose your battery to that much output unless it really needs it. So you don't want to submerge this unit in water. It says it very clearly. I think it says it a couple times actually in this manual. You don't want to submerge it in water. And obviously the reason for being is that the charging port is open. So it's not waterproof. Now, some may be kind of disappointed in that. Me, you know, I already have enough going on with this whole thing. It's really not that much of a disappointment to me. So for me to have, I guess for me to have it waterproof would just be, you know, it'd be nice, but it's not something that I guess it really needs. So if you need to clean it or anything, just use a wet rag, you know, and then dry it off. Let it sit. You know, after you clean it and after it's dried, put it back in its packaging. This is a one-size-fits-all. You know, it's not, you can't order them any specific size. It's actually a pretty long leash. Now, I didn't measure it. But I suppose I could probably measure it. And it's just a, hang on. Okay, so I thought I had a tape measure, but I don't have one laying around anywhere. So, I'm going to guess, I held it up to myself, and so I'm going to guess that this is about 4.5 feet long. So, it's not a really long leash, but it's not a short leash either. It's actually pretty perfect for what I need it for. So, anyway, I think that this is, you know, my view on it, really awesome. You know, it's a high quality. I have a couple other ones, not so high quality. So, this one gets 2 thumbs up for me, just like the collar did, because it's just a really nice feature. You know, it's a nice leash in general, and then to have the LED feature on top of it, just really awesome. And so I applaud the company for really putting the time and effort into making a great collar and leash. So that's the end of my review. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comment below, and I will see if I can't answer them for you. Since I have the product, I can answer pretty much all questions that you have. If you would like to see any more reviews, subscribe to my channel. You know, very simple. I do reviews on a lot of variety of things, so I don't have a specific category that I review. I just kind of review whatever gets sent to me. So, hope you have a great day, and see you next time.